It was a quiet Sunday morning. Maria stood in her small kitchen, making tea. Sunlight touched the wooden floor of her tiny apartment. Birds were chirping outside, and everything felt normal, peaceful. She had just finished a long night shift at the hospital. As a young nursing student, she worked part-time to support herself. Her life wasn't easy, but she was strong, quiet, kind, and always ready to help others. Maria was 23. She lived alone in a building full of older people and small families. Everyone knew her as the sweet girl from apartment 3B. She often helped her neighbors with small things, groceries, carrying bags, or even fixing old electronics. Just last night, Mr. Harold from 4A had asked her for help. His TV wasn't working. Maria had knocked on his door around 9 p.m., and he had let her in. He was an old man then, quiet, and always smiling. He lived alone, no visitors, no family. People barely noticed him. "I think the screen's broken," he had said, coughing into a handkerchief. "Would you mind taking a look, Maria Shapitia?" She had smiled and said yes, like she always did. Maria knew a little about wiring. She had fixed the cables, checked the input, and after a few minutes, the screen came back on. Mr. Harold looked relieved, but something strange had happened. As soon as the TV turned on, a black and white video started playing. There were no a recording. It showed a hallway. It looked like it came from a hidden camera. Maria had asked, "What's this?" Mr. Harold quickly pressed a button and turned it off. His hands were shaking. "Just old files, security stuff. Nothing to worry about," he said, forcing a smile. Maria didn't ask more. She didn't want to be rude. She thanked him for the tea and left now. The next morning, she was sipping her own tea when there was a knock at the door, not a light. Knock. It was hard, sharp, loud enough to make her cup shake in her hand. She froze. She wasn't expecting anyone. She walked slowly to the door and looked through the peephole. Two men stood outside. They wore black suits. One had a badge in his hand. FBI. Her heart skipped. Maria opened the door, confused and nervous. "Maria Lopez," one of the agents asked. Double quotes. "Yes. That's me," she said, her voice low. "We'd like to ask you a few questions. May we come in?" She hesitated. "Is everything okay?" The agent nodded but didn't smile. "It's about Mr. Harold." Her eyes widened. "What happened?" The men stepped in. One walked around the apartment, scanning the room, while the other sat down with her. "Mr. Harold was found dead early this morning," he said. Maria covered her mouth in shock. "What? But I just saw him last night. He was fine." The agent looked at her carefully. "Did he give you anything? A note? A USB drive? Anything unusual?" No, he didn't. I just helped him with his TV, that's all." The agent leaned closer. "What did you see on the TV?" Maria's hands trembled. "Nothing. Just a strange video. A hallway." Then he turned it off. The other agent walked back from her kitchen. "We need to take your phone," he said. "Why?" she asked, confused. "Standard check. If anything was transferred from his device, it might be here." Maria didn't argue. She handed it over. The agent looked at her again. "We believe Mr. Harold was recording something dangerous. That video you saw? It wasn't just any hallway. It was a secret government facility. He used to work there until he disappeared." Maria was speechless. "Do you think he showed you the video on purpose?" the agent asked. "I don't know," she whispered. "Maybe. He seemed scared, but he didn't say anything." The agent stood up. "If you remember anything, even the smallest detail, call this number." He handed her a card and walked out with his partner. Maria closed the door slowly. Her heart was racing. Her hands were cold. Mr. Harold was dead, and the last person who saw him alive was her. She sat on the couch replaying last night in her head. Something wasn't right. Why did Mr. Harold have that video? Why didn't he tell her more? And why did the FBI come to her? That night, Maria couldn't sleep. Her phone was still with the agents. The silence in her apartment felt heavier than usual. At 2 a.m., her laptop made a soft beep. She hadn't touched it. A message popped up on her screen. No name, just a link. "Click here to see the truth." Maria stared at it. Her instincts told her to close the laptop, but curiosity was stronger. She clicked. The same hallway appeared, the one from Mr. Harold's TV, but this time, the video kept playing. 3 men walked into the frame, dressed in black. They knocked on a door. Mr. Harold opened it. They pushed inside. Then the screen went black. Maria's body froze. A second message appeared. "You're next. Keep your mouth shut." She slammed the laptop shut. Her hands were shaking. The FBI said he was found dead, but they didn't say how. Outside her window, a black car sat parked across the street. The engine was still running, and someone was watching her. Maria barely slept that night. She kept the lights on, the windows closed, and her eyes on the door. Every sound made her jump. A car passing by, a door creaking, even the wind brushing against the glass. That message on her laptop kept playing in her mind. "You're next. Keep your mouth shut." She didn't understand what was happening. Why her? Why now? The next morning, someone knocked again, but this time it wasn't loud. It was soft. She looked through the peephole and felt a wave of relief. It was the same FBI agent from before. She opened the door. "Miss Lopez," he said, "we need to talk. It's urgent." He stepped inside and closed the door quickly behind him. His eyes scanned the room. Is anyone else here? He asked. Double quotes. No. ... Just me. He pulled out a small device and waved it slowly around the room. Checking for hidden bugs, he explained. Maria's heart sank. Why would someone put bugs in my apartment? He looked at her seriously. Because someone wants to know what you know. She sat down, nervous. But I don't know anything. I just fixed his TV. The agent nodded. That's what we thought too. But Mr. Harold wasn't who he said he was. Maria leaned forward. Then who was he? The agent opened a file and showed her an old photo. It was Mr. Harold but younger, wearing a military uniform. His real name was David Harlan. He was a security analyst for a top-level government project. Years ago, he vanished from the system 6 years back. We thought he was dead. Maria stared at the photo, shocked. He changed his identity and lived quietly. We believe he had dangerous information, something he wasn't supposed to keep. Something worth killing for. Maria swallowed hard. He must have trusted you, the agent continued. You were the only person he let into his apartment, but he didn't give me anything, she said quickly. He just showed me that weird hallway video, then turned it off. The agent leaned forward. That hallway. You saw it's from a restricted base. There's no reason for him to have that footage, unless he was planning to expose someone. Maria's hands trembled. Then that's why he's dead. The agent nodded slowly. Yes, and now they think you have what he was hiding. Maria's voice cracked. But I don't. The agent opened his briefcase. Inside was a small tablet. He pressed play. The same hallway video began to play, the same one Maria had seen, but this version was longer. It showed more. 3 men walked down the hallway. They stopped at a door, knocked, and were let in. Then something happened. The video glitched. For a moment, a face was clearly visible. One of the men wasn't just anyone, he was a senator, a powerful name Maria had seen on the news. She gasped. That's yes, the agent said. That's why this is dangerous. If this video goes public, it could destroy careers, or even bring down entire systems. Maria's heart pounded. The agent continued. We believe Mr. Harlan was ready to leak this video, but before he could, someone stopped him. She looked at him. And now they're coming after me. Yes, you may have seen something, or they think he gave you a copy. Maria shook her head. He didn't, I swear. The agent leaned in. If you're lying, they will find out. But if you're telling the truth, we still need to protect you. He handed her a phone. This is encrypted. If anything strange happens, call me. She nodded. He stood to leave. But before walking out, he turned back and said something that made her blood run cold. Miss Lopez, be careful who you trust. These people have friends in high places. The door closed behind him. That afternoon, Maria sat at her window, watching the street below. The black car from last night was gone, but she didn't feel safe. She went back into her living room and turned on the TV. Every sound, every creak in her apartment felt louder now. She glanced at Mr. Harold's door, for sealed, with yellow police tape. She wondered what else was inside. Her curiosity got the better of her. She grabbed her spare key, the one she used to help him with groceries and cleaning before. Quietly, she walked up the stairs. The hallway was empty. She slipped inside. The apartment smelled like dust and old paper. Everything was still. Nothing had been moved. She looked around, books, tools, wires, and then she saw it, an old wooden box, under the table. She opened it. Inside was a notebook, and a single USB stick. Her hands froze over it. Could this be what they were looking for? She slipped the notebook and USB into her bag and rushed back to her apartment. But just as she entered and locked the door, her phone rang. That was an unknown number. She answered. Slowly, a deep voice spoke only 3 chilling words. You have it. Maria dropped the phone. Her heart raced. The voice had been deep, slow, and cold. You have it. She stood still for a moment, listening. Nothing but silence. No footsteps. No sound outside her door. How did they know? How did they find out so fast? She pulled the USB stick from her bag. It was small and black with no labels. She grabbed her laptop, locked all the windows, and pulled the curtains shut. Maria plugged in the USB. Her hands were shaking. At first, the screen stayed black. Then, folders appeared strangely named. One read, Do not open. Another said, Truth. She clicked the folder called Truth. A video started playing. It wasn't just one hallway this time. It was a series of security camera clips. Different angles, different rooms. One video showed a group of men in uniform speaking in code, exchanging sealed folders. Another showed the same senator from the hallway standing over a table, yelling at someone tied to a chair. Maria's stomach turned. This wasn't just spying. This was abuse, torture, secrets the world wasn't supposed to know. She clicked another file. This one was labeled Emergency Statement. Mr. Harold's face appeared on the screen. He looked tired, his eyes red, his voice weak. If you're watching this, I'm probably dead. My name is David Harlan. I used to work for a government defense unit that doesn't officially exist. Years ago, I found out they were using illegal surveillance and black sites to control political enemies. They said it was for national safety, but it wasn't. It was about power. I tried to report it, no one listened, so I ran. I hid. But I knew one day they'd find me. That's why I recorded everything. That's why I hid it. In plain sight, inside the TV. To whoever finds this, don't trust the system. And if you want to survive, you need to go public. The video ended. Maria sat frozen. The USB wasn't just important. It was evidence. Proof that could take down powerful people. And now, it was in her hands. Suddenly, her laptop screen flickered. A message appeared in big red letters. "We see you." Her webcam light turned on. Maria screamed and slammed the laptop shut. She yanked out the USB and ran into her bedroom. She shoved the stick deep into her sock drawer, then sat on the floor, trying to breathe. She thought of calling the FBI agent, but her phone was still dead. She didn't trust it anymore. Were they already inside her system? She grabbed her keys. In her bag, she needed to get out. Now, as Maria opened her apartment door, she saw someone standing down the hall. A man tall, wearing a black hoodie, not moving, just staring at her. Just she closed the door quickly and locked it. Her heart pounded like a drum. Who was he? She ran to the kitchen and peeked through the window. The man was gone. Just then, someone pounded hard on her door. "Maria?" A voice shouted. "Open up. It's me." Maria rushed to the door and opened it. Jenny was her best friend. They had grown up together. She was the only person Maria trusted completely. "What's going on?" Jenny asked, breathing fast. "I saw black cars outside your building." "What's happening?" Maria pulled her in and closed the door. She tried to explain everything. The note, the video, the message, the USB. Jenny's eyes grew wide. "Maria, this is serious. You can't stay here. I know, but where can I go?" Jenny looked down, thinking. "My uncle owns a cabin outside the city. No Wi-Fi, no cameras, just trees and quiet. We can hide there." Maria nodded. It was risky but safer than staying. She packed a small bag, grabbed the USB, and followed Jenny down the stairs. As they reached the bottom, Maria noticed something. The black car was still there, but now, it was empty. To empty. Suddenly, Jenny pulled her arm. "Go. Go now." They rushed into Jenny's car and sped off. Maria looked back one last time, and from the building's rooftop, someone was watching them through binoculars. The road stretched ahead like a river of silence. Maria sat in the passenger seat, gripping the USB stick tight in her hand. Jenny drove fast, eyes locked on the road, her jaw tight with worry. They didn't speak for the first 30 minutes. Trees passed by in a blur. The city disappeared behind them, replaced by open land and woods. No streetlights, no cars, just darkness. Finally, Maria broke the silence. "Do you think they're following us?" Jenny looked in the mirror. "Not yet, but they will." Maria looked down at the USB. "I should have left it behind." Jenny shook her head. "No, this is proof. You're doing the right thing. But we have to be smart." They reached the cabin after another hour. It was small, wooden, and surrounded by tall pine trees. No neighbors, no internet. Just one old generator humming in the back. Inside, it smelled like dust and wood. A fireplace, a couch, a small kitchen. Safe. For now, Maria sat at the small dining table. She laid the USB down like it was made of glass. Jenny heated up some canned soup and handed her a bowl. "You need to eat," she said gently, but Maria couldn't. Her stomach was in knots. "I saw things on that drive," she whispered. "People being hurt, important people doing terrible things. If I release this, they'll come after you." Jenny finished. Maria nodded. Jenny sat beside her. "Then we make a plan. We don't go back to the city. We don't use phones. We disappear. Until we're ready." Maria stared at the USB, but something inside her already knew it was too late for hiding. Back in the city. In a dark government building, a screen lit up. An older man in a gray suit stood in front of it. His name was Director Kane. His eyes were cold. A younger agent walked up beside him. "We confirmed it," the agent said. "The girl has the USB. Where is she now?" Kane asked. "She escaped the apartment with another girl, named Jenny Carter. We tracked her license plate. They're off-grid now." Director Kane nodded. "Bring up the list." The screen changed. Dozens of faces appeared. Targets, whistleblowers, journalists. Threats. He pointed. "Add Maria Lopez." The agent clicked. Maria's photo moved to the top of the list. A red box appeared over her name. Level 1. Eliminate or Dion back. At the cabin. Jenny found an old laptop in a drawer. "No internet," she said, "but we can still view files." Maria hesitated, then plugged in the USB. More videos appeared. More files. But one folder had a strange name. 4ML. She clicked it. A video popped up just like before. It was Mr. Harold again. But this time, he looked directly into the camera. "Maria, if you're seeing this, you're smarter than they thought. Good. You're probably scared. That's normal, but listen carefully. I picked you for a reason. You were kind, honest, strong. I needed someone who wouldn't run away. You have what they fear. Not just the video, but the truth. You can expose everything." Maria's hands covered her mouth. Her eyes filled with tears. "I know they'll come for you. So I left something else. Something they don't know about. In my apartment behind the wall. It's the real key. Use it, Maria. Finish what I couldn't." The screen went black. Jenny turned to her. What's he talking about? Maria was silent, then she stood up. I have to go back. Jenny stared at her. What? No? That's crazy. But Maria's voice was calm now. If that key is still there, I need to find it before they do. Meanwhile, back in the city. Two men broke into Mr. Harold's apartment. They ripped open drawers, cut through furniture, tore open walls. They were too late. They found nothing. Then one of them got a call. A voice whispered, she knows. She's coming back? Back at the cabin. Maria sat outside, staring at the stars. She no longer felt like the same girl who fixed a TV for an old man. Now, she was holding a secret. A secret powerful people would kill to bury. And somewhere behind that, while in Mr. Harold's apartment, was the final piece of truth. Maria didn't sleep that night. She kept thinking about Mr. Harold's last words. Behind the wall. It's the real key. What had he hidden? Why? Behind a wall? And most of all, would it still be there? By morning, her decision was final. She was going back. Maria, think about this, Jenny said, standing at the cabin door. They're probably watching the building. I know, Maria replied, tying her shoelaces. But if we wait, they'll find the key before I do. I have to take that chance. Jenny looked at her best friend. The fear in Maria's eyes had changed now. It was mixed with something stronger. Courage. Then I'm coming with you, Jenny said. They drove in silence. The city came closer, building by building. As they neared Maria's apartment, they took back roads and parked far away. They walked the last few blocks on foot. Maria kept her hoodie low. Jenny wore a baseball cap. They reached the building. It looked normal. To normal. No black car. No agents. No strange men. Nothing out of place. But Maria's gut told her someone was watching. They entered quietly. The hallway smelled like cleaning spray and silence. Her apartment door was still locked. But as she looked toward Mr. Harold's door apartment for she froze. The police tape was gone. Are you sure about this? Jenny whispered. Maria nodded. She used the old spare key again. The door creaked open. They stepped inside. The apartment was cold. Furniture was still broken from the earlier search. Books were on the floor. Shelves empty. Maria went straight to the far wall, next to the old TV. She touched the wallpaper. Then she noticed something strange. A small square in the corner had a crack like someone had patched it quickly but badly. She pulled at it. A piece of drywall came loose. Behind it, a black metal box. Maria's hands trembled. She opened it. Inside, there was only one thing, an old leather journal. She opened the journal carefully. The first page read, if this book is found, everything in it must be made public. These are the names. These are the secrets. And this is how they covered it all. Maria flipped through it. Dozens of names, places, operations, secret codes, dates. This wasn't just proof. It was a confession. Jenny whispered, Maria, you can take them down with this. Just then, thump, a sound came from the hallway. Someone was out there. Maria quickly hid the journal in her bag. They backed away from the wall. Then bang. The front door flew open. Two men in black rushed in. Jenny screamed. Maria grabbed her bag and pulled Jenny toward the back exit. They ran through the kitchen, out the fire escape. The men chased them, down the metal stairs, across the alley. One of the men pulled a gun. Pop! A bullet hit the brick wall beside Maria's head. She ducked. Jenny grabbed her hand and pulled her toward a nearby parking lot. A delivery truck was unloading boxes. They jumped behind it, hiding. The men ran past, not seeing them, heart racing. Maria whispered, we need to disappear again. Jenny nodded. Not just disappear, we need to go somewhere safe. And make this go viral. Later that night, Maria and Jenny sat inside an old internet cafe on the edge of town. The kind with dusty chairs, slow computers, and no cameras. Maria plugged in the USB and scanned the journal. She opened a blank email, attached every file. Then, in the to section, she typed a list. Independent journalists, whistleblower groups, online truth forums, news stations, one brave senator she remembered seeing once on the news. Finally, she typed a message. The truth was buried, but not anymore. Share this. Tell the world. Let them know. She hit send, and just like that, the secrets were out. Back inside the government building, Director Kane stood still as an alarm beeped. A screen showed multiple messages being delivered around the world. He clenched his jaw. She did it. His assistant whispered. Director Kane didn't speak. Then he slammed his fist into the table. Find her now. Meanwhile, Maria and Jenny stepped back into the dark alley behind the cafe for the first time in days. Maria took a deep breath, but she knew one thing. This wasn't over. Now the world would know the truth. And now, she was a target. By morning, Maria's name was everywhere. News anchors whispered her story. Bloggers posted clips from the USB. Podcasts replayed Mr. Harold's message. One headline read, Young girl exposes secret government files. What is being hidden from us? Another said, Who is Maria Lopez, the brave soul behind the leak? Maria and Jenny were hiding inside an old motel on the city's edge. They had fake names, no phones, just one bag between them and the journal. Maria sat on the bed, watching the news from a small dusty TV. Reporters tried to catch up with the story. No one had seen anything like this. Some believed her, some didn't, but all eyes were on her now. Jenny turned to her. You just shook the whole system. Maria gave a weak smile. And now they'll shake back. In a tall building across the city, Director Kane stood in a dark office. A group of men sat around him. Politicians, military officers, tech bosses. We underestimated her, Kane said. An officer replied. People are protesting, demanding answers. A second man added, the files prove everything: illegal surveillance, secret prisons, even assassinations. Director Kane's eyes narrowed. Then we make her disappear. Back at the motel, Maria opened the journal again. Halfway through, she found something strange. A page folded and taped shut. She opened it. Inside was a map, marked in red. Facility 47 next to it. Mr. Harold's writing. This is where it all began, and where it must end. Jenny leaned over her shoulder. What is that? A place, Maria said. I think it's where they keep the real evidence. The originals. The files they never wanted copied. If we go there, we finish. That night, Maria and Jenny sneaked out. They borrowed an old car and drove west. For hours, they followed the map. Past cities, past towns, into the mountains. At last, they reached a rusty gate with no name, just a fence, a camera, and a warning sign. No trespassing federal property. Facility 47 was underground. They climbed the fence at night, found a back tunnel, just as marked on the map. Inside, it was cold, quiet, dark. They moved slowly through the halls. Everything smelled like metal and secrets. Then they saw it, a large steel door. On it, scratched into the metal, section black. Maria pushed it open. Inside rows of filing cabinets, old hard drives, footage reels, tapes. The real truth, unedited, unfiltered, unforgiven. Suddenly, footsteps, voices, men with guns entered behind them. Don't move, one shouted. Maria froze. A light shined on her face, but then boom. An explosion rocked the hallway. Smoke, screams. Another team stormed in, masks and carrying badges. FBI, get down. In the chaos, someone pulled Maria aside, a woman in plain clothes, holding a badge. I'm Agent Rowe. We've been watching you. Maria looked at her, confused. We believed you, the agent said, and we followed every file you sent. We're here to stop them for good. By morning, Facility 47 was locked down. The FBI raided every room. Dozens of people were arrested. Files were taken. Maria stood outside, watching the sunrise. Her hands were dirty, her eyes tired, but she knew it was almost over. Back in the city, Director Kane was arrested live on national TV. One reporter shouted, "Is it true you ordered people to be silenced?" He didn't answer. Maria's face was shown on every screen. No longer the girl who fixed a TV. Now, the girl who exposed giants? Maria sat inside a quiet FBI safe house. It had been 3 days since the raid on Facility 47. The truth was out. News channels were still playing clips from the leaked files. Politicians were being questioned. Protests were happening across the country. The whole world was watching, and it all began with a girl who just wanted to help fix a TV. Agent Rowe placed 2 cups of coffee on the table. She sat across from Maria. You've done more in 1 week than most people do in a lifetime, the agent said. Maria looked down. I didn't plan this. I just couldn't walk away. Rowe nodded. And because of that, they're scared. Not just of what you exposed, but of what you represent. Maria looked confused. Rowe smiled gently. Truth, bravery, and someone who didn't run. Meanwhile in Washington, a large courtroom was full of cameras and reporters. Director Kane sat in handcuffs. One by one, witnesses stood up and told their stories. Whistleblowers who had been silenced, families of victims, former agents. And every time Maria's name came up, the room grew quiet. She had given them the courage to speak. Outside, people held signs. Justice for the truth, Maria started. It will finish it. Protect the brave at the safe house. Jenny entered the room with a laptop. Maria, you need to see it. She turned the screen. It showed a video, a live speech from the president. He looked serious, tired, but honest. What happened under Director Kane's leadership was not just wrong, it was illegal, immoral, and inhumane. We owe a great debt to the young woman who exposed this truth. Her name is Maria Lopez, and I want to say to her, to her family, and to the nation, thank you. Maria's eyes filled with tears. Because of her bravery, we are launching a full investigation. We are rebuilding trust. We are changing the system. Jenny smiled. You did this. Maria wiped her eyes. No, we did, but not everyone was happy. Far and away, in a dark room, a man watched the same broadcast. He turned off the TV and whispered, she's still alive. She still knows more. Another voice asked, do we stop her? The man stared at a photo of Maria. Then slowly shook his head. No, we watch. We wait. But she's not done yet. That night Maria stood outside the safe house looking at the stars. So much had changed. She had been a quiet girl, fixing a broken TV for an old man. Now the world knew her name. But one thing haunted her still. There were pages in the journal she hadn't read yet. The last few pages were sealed tight with tape. Maria opened her bag. She took out the journal, sat on the porch, and slowly peeled back the final page. What she saw made her gasp. It was a list not of names this time, but of locations, hidden sites, unknown labs, offshore networks, secret backups. At the bottom, Mr. Harold had written, "If they ever come back, this is where the rest is buried. The truth never dies, it only waits." Maria closed the book. She looked at the stars again, and said quietly, "Then I'll be ready." The world was healing. Corrupt leaders were being removed. Laws were changing. People were marching with hope, and behind it all was the name Maria Lopez. She had become a symbol of truth, of courage, of resistance. But Maria knew one thing. It wasn't over. Not yet. She held Mr. Harold's journal in her hands. The last pages had changed everything. Hidden sites, secret networks, buried information that no one else knew about. If those places remained untouched, the darkness would return. Jenny looked at her. "Are you sure about this?" Maria nodded. This was never just about the files. It was about making sure they can't hide again. For the next few weeks, Maria and Jenny traveled across the country. They went from coast to coast quietly, carefully visiting every location on the list. Old warehouses, abandoned labs, secret server bunkers, hidden behind fake businesses. In each place, they found more evidence, more lies, more buried truths. And Maria collected it all. She built a Driva final master file. She called it the Fire Key then. One day Maria walked into a small recording studio. She sat in front of a camera. She looked tired, but strong. She pressed record and said, "This is my last message. You've seen the truth. You've seen the damage. But the world needs more than just headlines. So I've made a choice." She took a deep breath. "Today, I'm releasing everything. Every hidden document. Every video. Every truth they wanted to erase. This isn't about revenge. It's about responsibility. You deserve to know." The video was posted that same night. Alongside it, a link to the Fire Key. And within minutes, it spread like wildfire. News channels couldn't keep up. Governments scrambled. People flooded the streets again, this time, not in fear, but in power. The truth had come. All of it. And no one could stop it now. But Maria didn't stay to watch. She disappeared. No one knew where she went. Some said she moved to a quiet village in another country. Others believed she went underground, helping other whistleblowers in secret. Some claimed she died. But one thing was clear. She changed everything. Years later, a young girl in school opened a history book. On the last page, there was a picture of Maria. Underneath, it read, "She was just a girl who fixed a broken TV." But what she discovered lit a fire that never died.